Well, I suppose I'm recording this for posterity and for history, and also recording it because I don't think anybody else was going to, or even object to. Apology to the world, to history, to everyone, and admission. My name is John Cameron Weaver. I live in the town of Roseman, California. It is 5:27 p.m. West Coast time. It is the 31st of March, 2025. A lot of YouTube videos and other videos from other sources are talking about the problem in itself. And we are seeing authoritative actions taking place more and more. And I can't apologize enough to the world, to history, to posterity for the actions taken and the actions not taken. It is not for them I apologize to. I apologize because no one else is. I had been responsible for allowing this political nature to continue. I hadn't done enough. I hadn't said enough. I hadn't acted enough in my town to convince others of the folly of their actions, which is now taking place, and they're cheering about it, but they hadn't seen what it truly means, nor do they care. The ones who are vocal about it online, but I hadn't seen anybody protesting outside to show support. But they mouth off on social media a great deal. Their only place they feel like they can do it without actually putting themselves in person outside of their keyboard realm to take a stand physically, be noticed, be photographed, be registered. They like seeing other people are getting suffering and they don't care about it. People being transported without due process. They said they are knowledgeable of the U.S. Constitution but demonstrate little qualities of it. They want their Second Amendment rights, and eventually it's going to be taken away. Not by me, but it may be taken away because the Constitution will be tossed, burned, and taken out of schools, museums, Smithsonian, Library of Congress, everything and everything. What they say about the Constitution, they'll laugh, mock, cajole. What you hear in the background is my dog whining for my attention. In my many videos that I've done on my own YouTube channel, Diary of a Griever named John Weaver, I have talked politics. I've also talked I have talked personal and political, environmental if I had, sciences, history. And seeing history played out, seeing the darkest nature of our own history in our country being portrayed more and more, I felt like I was compelled, like so many others, to say their piece, to try to demonstrate just how bad our situation is in this time period. While the fingers and lies keep pointing out that other people and other things are responsible for their downfall, people have yet to understand they're doing it to themselves. They're doing it to themselves because they allowed this to happen. They listened to others They thought they knew better, but they didn't. As my attention's riveted to my dog, our own attention's riveted to other things. We're supposed to be focusing on other items. We're supposed to be focusing on the tariff idea that we're going to be rich from them because we're going to be getting wealth from everybody else. But in actuality, what the economics were saying, we're paying more. And the administration we voted in, the Trump administration, has failed the American people. Except for those who actually have the money and wealth and don't care. I have people from the independents and corporate media. Sometimes they're trying to placate, and other times they're not. They'll go after each other. Blame, blame, blame. But they never focus on themselves as being part of the problem, not part of a solution or suggestions of such. But I have to take the martyrism, don't I? I have to take the blame for it. I didn't vote the bastard in. I didn't vote to have this change happen. I voted not to have the change happen. We already had wars happening all over Europe, Middle East, both needing our attention in the worst possible way. More bloodshed, more land being taken, resources wasted, people disappearing through genocide. Our own country right now, tossing people out, despite that they've actually got a voice in our country. They don't care. The opposition doesn't care. The Constitution doesn't care. The Amendments 1 through 10, if you're just counting the damn Second Amendment there. People don't care about due process. Unless they're going to be part of that tragedy and been told that either they get with the game or else they're gone. But they haven't been told. They've been picked up from the streets. Masked men in different cities and towns. Some are getting the limelight, others are not. Look at people with badges of different sorts who swore an oath to the U.S. Constitution, but now swore an oath to Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Musk breaks laws to satisfy him. Goes to a state to bribe people to vote for his candidates that'll succumb and supplant justice and the law. A billionaire has that power. He makes everybody else cower and afraid because the wealth, what he commands, and what he can try to control with that wealth. When you are greedy and you're corrupted, you don't care. It's the people down who look like this is their only shot for salvation, is to be traitorous to one's cause, one's beliefs, one's faith for survival. And they will do what they can or want to make sure that they're themselves and their family are going to get taken care of by making other people disappear. What I am fearing, what I'm afraid of, is the dates I had put out there and apparently ignored left and right, but maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing. 1776 and 1860 are the two bloodiest things I remember. 1812 didn't count much because I was still incorporated in 1776. Civil rights movement back in the 1960s, I should have been putting it out there as well. But the ones that really stuck with me concerning about violent overthrows was a revolution against a tyrant king across the waters and a country splitting itself apart in a civil war. I'm afraid of those two dates happening at the same time. If by your time period, if you happen to see this video and those actions have come and gone, your world is turned upside down, then I apologize. On behalf of humanity, on common sense, the ancestors that will haunt me until eternity, that I haven't done anything, even trying to be a mouth to a lot of things, but people have to understand we did this to ourselves and to our posterity. We did this to our future generations. We thought we had good intentions, but we sure as hell didn't have the intelligence or the heart or the empathy to do so. We listened to greed. We listened to disinformation. We weren't able to disseminate anything. We were caught up with our own insanity. Of course, people will be laughing about this one. They'll be joking. They'll think I'm mad. Maybe I am. Or maybe I'm the sanest bastard around and everyone else has lost their lids, lost their intelligence, their heart, caring for another human being, what some of their belief systems would be telling them, and ignoring all of that just for a bit of silver in their pocket. We've had our traitors in our American history. Benedict Arnold was one of those. I was taught to us in schools, but apparently people have forgotten about that one. Where American general turned his back against his people because he wasn't promoted and he was slighted. And then he goes off to deep rail fighting against the American Continentals. Of course, he was tried. I don't know where he's buried, if his body was buried. But he was a traitor to the country. I know other people will be pounding their fists on the ground and shaking them into the air saying, we must find those dirty, rotten traitors. Traitors to who? And traitors to what? We want to see our American dream fly, and instead we are seeing the great American experiment go through its worst mutation ever. Period of tyranny, where we already started from tyranny. Our colonies had been created out of tyranny. Manifest destiny was it. We were looking for gold. We were looking for materials. We're looking for new lands to conquer, to explore, to escape from what was happening in Europe and other countries. Invading another country, bringing forth with our own beliefs, our own weaponry, and our own diseases, and not to mention our own ways of thinking, which was changing people's faith into the European model. For a long period, as I was growing up as a kid, we thought of Columbus Day was a holiday because the guy was a great explorer. He was an explorer, but was he great? Not from many point of views. And because of that, we have long-term memory that just never dies of what he did, what he said, and what he tried to do and tried to apologize for. But the world slowly woke up to that fact that He was just another guy doing the European manifest destiny on everybody. And for our own unnecessary needs of going to other countries to steal other human beings for labor force. Chaining them, belittling them, re-identifying them, making them hated, spat upon, discriminated. To this day, they can't even catch a break, despite how many human, despite the laws and amendments we have put on the books to make them just as the theoretical European colonists' descendants were. I don't call myself an American anymore. I don't even know what that is anymore. My own ancestors will be questioning me, what's America to me? I thought I knew a long time ago until I saw the darker side happening. More capitalism, more greed, more isolationism, subdivisions. And I've been put into that party. Because I retained memory of things that happened, of knowledge that I've been learning or trying to learn from places they called wokeism and liberalism. I would be considered outcast, despite the fact I would have a skin color of white, so to speak. White would be considered privilege, according to a lot of insanity going on around here. If you are of a different color or a different burned skin, you're not considered human. No rights. You can't belong here because the fear and hatred runs deep, and it's been exploding ever since. I don't know at the time when this taping happens if there's going to be violence happening in the street, if there's going to be anybody rebelling, or just lying low and just waiting for it all to surpass them. Problem is, it's not. I'm expecting martial law to kick in any second. I'm expecting people to really do something stupid here. Cowering while people would come into your homes and take you away. I'm waiting for the time when the white people are doing that one to each other. We're already doing it to blacks. We're already doing it to people of Middle East descent, to Latino descent, even to Hawaiians and Native Americans. If you're not white, you're going to be discriminated. Imagine the island chain of Hawaii going through that. Will they be doing that to their own white colored skin people? And that only the tan and brown would be the only ones allowed to be living on the islands. Will there be a racial will there be racial discrimination happening on that one, left and right? The islands who are a gateway to a lot of cultures. Right now, we have a president considering signing executive orders to tariff everybody. In a way, in his insanity to promote wealth in our country when we're going to be going downhill with disparity, with inflation, with recession to near depression. We're going to be putting the world's markets, if we haven't done so in your time period, into chaos and confusion. If in this time period of yours, If the economy has really sank and gone downhill, no one in my generation, no one in the older generation, no one in the current generation will be apologizing for it. They're too much hooked on the Kool-Aid, the influence that they were drinking in through their ears, through their eyes, being bribed. We're a rally in a state that depended upon a special election for a judge to keep a position. A billionaire would go in to try to change votes, illegal as it is, but didn't care about the Constitution. They'll argue and cry crocodile tears, but still convince others that he is moral and righteous. And people drank it up. Or the red hats, the MAGAs, Make America Great Again, becomes a symbol. Not the American flag, it becomes a hated symbol in my time period. I don't know about your time period. But it's now becoming a hated symbol in the world economy and the world in general. I'm afraid in my territory, we're going to be separating from the United Nations, and if not that, I would be afraid if it hasn't happened in your time period in the future. The United Nations were moved to a different country, maybe a better suited country than the United States, that will take the land from the world, United Nations, and sell it off, as we would go over to Israel and sell off land over there, or buy the property to make it our own amusement park. Or to conquer another land that's defrosting because of our own actions we've taken in our time period, that we're cooking our planet and taking more liberties with another sovereign nation and tossing them off, tossing them out. As what we had done to the Native Americans and to the indigenous in this country, that this land of my European ancestors came over to colonize, to conquer, to vanquish, to survive from the old guard and thinking the new ways are going to be working, but we brought the old ways with us. That's why things have been working out the way it is. I can try learning more about my current time period, the current cultures we have. To me, they're almost just as alien, but I need to make them non-alien, understandable, humane, human. There has to be empathy, there has to be compassion, there has to be humanity. But what we're all demonstrating in this period, we have lost it. Greed, corruption, politicians wanting more and more, and the little people get squashed. What I'm afraid of, the actions we're going to be taking in this planet, or at least in the country that used to be known as the United States of America, used to be a symbol of democracy, of freedom, of liberty. But we've lost that. We've lost that. We lost the title. We lost the meaning. And I gotta check up on my dog. Well, she's just walking around and fussing. And I don't blame her. I'd be fussing too. My own land, my own home, my neighborhood, the state I live in, the physical and the mental state, challenged and being threatened all the time. As I keep an eye on my dog wandering around, wondering if she's ever going to get out of the house, I'm reminded of our own situations in similar fashions. We created our own jail cells, physical and mental, and we have passed it on through generations to other people. We have locked ourselves up in different ideologies and in different insanities that no longer seems to be liable and viable these days. No one in my time, no one will ever apologize for what has happened or what is happening. They just won't do. They've lost the will, they've lost compassion, empathy, humanity. They see the greed, corruption, and power. They see what limited resources they can try controlling. In short, we doomed our planet in every which way. Some people may think this is a suicide note for myself. We've already killed ourselves. As a world, we've already killed ourselves. We're just counting down. If there's any hope left, if there's any faith in something greater than our own damn egos, I haven't seen it in my time. Maybe in yours. Maybe we haven't come across this ash ball that we created. We killed ourselves many times over with our own chemicals, our own nuclear. Nature's already doing the biological. But our own political natures, our own mentality. If the world has truly gone to hell in a handbasket, and this is the final message, I am truly sorry for how our planet became and ended up. Some people may think it'll be foolhardy for me to publish it. I don't care. I care that the voice will be out there. I care that I have to get the voice out there. I have to care that this matters more. Some people think I'm losing hope. Well, I haven't seen much left to have hope with, because I've seen the hopeless and the helpless happened, and we screwed ourselves over on this one. What can we do? What are we supposed to do? I wish I had an answer. I don't. I don't. For right now, this letter of apology will have to do for this generation and for future generations. I clearly have no idea and no meaningful suggestion for my planet, for my world, for my nation, as it were. Because I'm already seeing people following insanity. They want war. They support a war. They made him a god. They worship at their feet, at his feet. But the thing, what I hadn't seen in my generation, as I tried to put out the two sets of dates, what I'm expecting, what I'm fearing to happen. Because if the courts are not followed and the courts are ignored and other courts come up where no one has any rights, freedoms, liberties, justice, only for the rich and for the poor, nothing. And we're going to be stuck in this kind of environment. The only other thing we're going to be seeing that the uppers will be laughing their heads off is how we're trying to fight each other. Not just to get to the top of the pyramid, but to take out the pyramid itself. I'm expecting that to happen in the worst way. And then I'm expecting martial law to kick in. I don't know who, I don't know where, how, why, I don't. But as long as there's tyrants, there's going to be people pissed off enough to do stuff. I've said it before too many times in my own videos. History, history, history. We fail to study the history. It keeps revealing itself. And we bother to knock it down because we think we knew better. Guess what, boys and girls? We don't. We're not showing it. We're not demonstrating it. And therefore, history is going to bite us in the ass. It will constantly bite us in the ass because this is what we're allowing to have it do, is bite us in the ass. I'm expecting the United States to fall apart worse. I'm expecting our country not to have hope, not to have faith, because we have allowed the tyrants to rule. I have no guns. I have no weapons. I have only my words, my knowledge, myself. I am seeing history trying to be rewritten in books, in museums, in places that were chartered pristine. Now they're just fields of waste. Museums are going to be wastelands themselves. If not physically, they'll be there knowledge-wise. Intellectually, you'll be nothing. So will the colleges. If they're not already kowtowing right now just for their own survival. Their own where the chairman and the board will be fighting for their own jobs, but not for the schools or knowledge or principles that they stood for so many centuries. They'll be trashed, thrashed. Principles be damned. Elitism rules, and everything else is a dog pile. To the future, I apologize to. To the current generation right now. What the hell are you waiting for?